Alright, cat lovers, welcome to the YouTube channel. We are so fucking back with brand new content in 2025 for Final Fantasy XI. What? Really? That's right. Big Limbus just dropped in June of 2025, and it brings with it the ability for us to +4 our artifact and relic gear. And although it takes place in the Limbus zone, it's a completely new piece of content. So let's talk about what we know about it so far. Now, right off the top, Limbus is pretty unique in terms of endgame content for 11. Unlike most content that is instanced and blocked by a daily lockout or multi-day lockout, Limbus is, first of all, completely open world. You're going to see other players in there with you. You can choose to team up with them, you can choose to compete with them, you can choose to ignore, whatever. You're going to see other people, which is kind of cool. It actually makes the game feel a little bit more alive. And there's no daily lockouts. There's no time limits once you're inside, nothing. It's just an open zone. You can come and go as you please and work on grinding your AF and relic gear. Another unique feature is that you can also set the level of the monsters that you encounter in there from 119 to 130, which is kind of interesting given that it's open world. So how does that work? Which basically when you aggro them, they'll set their level to whatever level you set. So that's kind of interesting. But what exactly is Limbus? Well, according to the NPCs in here, it's kind of the workshop of the gods. It's where new life forms are born. If you're not familiar, you access Limbus through Alteu. That's C. You need to have completed COP up to the point where you can get into C, and you also need to have completed Rhapsodies of Vana'diel to be able to go inside. Limbus is split into two zones. You have Temenos and Apollyon. Temenos is where you're going to work on your relic gear, and Apollyon is where you're going to work on your artifact gear. If you've never been to these areas before, you can access them through the crags. If you use your dimensional warp rings, it'll take you, to the light that you typically go into Raisin Jima with. You pick Alteu instead, and you'll be able to get to these zones. Teleport Hollow will bring you to Temenos, and you can use Dem or May to enter into Apollyon. There's two entrances to Apollyon, one to Temenos. Once inside, the goal is to earn as many of this new currency called units to use to upgrade your AF and relic gear. The units are unique to each zone, so you have Apollyon units, and you're going to use those to upgrade your artifact gear, and there's Temenos units, which you're going to use to upgrade your relic gear. Now, even though this content isn't time-gated, the devs did still keep a limitation to sort of slow us down. It'll take it takes 100,000 units in order to fully upgrade a set of gear. It's different points per item, so like the body pieces take 30,000, feet take 10,000, head is 20,000, legs 25,000, hands 15,000. I think that's correct. It's right there on the screen, so you can just look at there. But you can only get 50,000 points units per week per zone, so you can only finish a half set of AF and a half set of relic per week, basically. The devs did do one nice thing though. Any amount of that 50,000 that you don't earn this week will roll over to the next week. So let's say you did 25,000 points this week. Next week you have 50,000 limit, but they'll add that 25k, so you'll have a 75k limit to really take off the pressure to feel like you have to do it constantly. You can wait, just be a weekend warrior, do 100,000 points per weekend. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could do that if you wanted. So that's kind of nice. So it's still time gated, but you have the ability to plan to do your runs whenever the hell you want. It's really nice. So how do you actually get the units out of Limbus to upgrade your AF and relic gear? Well, it's pretty simple. So each zone is split into 4 different wings. You have the northeast, southeast, northwest, and southwest Apollyon wings. And then you have the north tower, east tower, west tower, and central towers in Temenos. At the end of each of those 4 wings is a chest, and you're going to want to open that chest. When you pop the chest, you're going to get either 3,000 or 5,000 units out of it. It seems to be random what you get. I've done plenty of runs where some characters get 5,000, some get 3,000. I don't know why. It could just be random. But when you first get to those chests, you're going to notice that you can't actually open it. There are some prerequisites first, and therein lies the true grind. In order to actually be eligible to open the chest, you first have to clear every floor of every wing in the Limbus zone that you're in. So you have the 4 wings. Each wing is further split up into various floors, and you have to visit each floor and kill enough monsters to fill that little bar in the top left. So you see it up there. Every time you kill a monster, you'll get a little bit of credit in the bar. Once it fills, number one, you're going to get awarded a certain number of units. It's going to depend on what floor you're on. Different floors require different numbers of monsters to kill, and you get units at the end. You'll also be given a temp item that signifies that you've cleared that floor. Once you've done that, the bar will reset, and you're free to either move on, or you can keep clearing the bar, but every subsequent clearing after you get the little temp item, you only get half as many units for clearing it. Once you've farmed all of the temp items from all the floors, you are now eligible to open one of those chests, and you will get your unit bonus. At that point, you're going to lose all the temp items, and you can start the grind all over again. How great is that? Once you lose those temp items, right, you're going to get the first time clear bonus again on each floor. So it really seems like the way to efficiently farm your units is to do this little soft goal of opening the chest, farm each floor, open the chest, but there's a limitation to that too. You can only open the chest 5 times per week in each zone. And so far, like with how I've been getting the points, you're still going to be short the 50k total. So if you want to hit the 50k, there will be a point where you're just going to have to raw dog the points by just farming the floors over and over and over again to get the half unit clear bonus. So that's kind of the basics of farming Limbus. Visit each floor, clear it, get the temp item, and then pop the chest at the end. There's no requirement to do the floors in any order, and one of the nice things about this content, it's so free form, right? When you enter, you have access to every wing and every floor. You can warp directly to any wing and any floor that you want right from the entrance, and at the end of each floor, there's a teleporter that will let you warp to any floor on that wing, or you can go back to the entrance and start another wing. So if you find yourself in lockstep with another group or something and you want to split up, you can just go to a different floor and then come back. It doesn't matter. You do it any order you like. So just farm the floors 5 times, open the chest 5 times, and then any leftover points you need to farm, pick your favorite floor and just crank mobs until you hit your 50k limit. And we've learned a few things about Limbus so far outside of just the basic way of farming the units. So some of the things to look out for. Monster levels in here aren't set until a monster aggroes, and then it's going to be set to your level. So if you set it to 130, at first they're just 119, and then if it aggroes you, it sets to 130. If it aggroes the person next to you and they're set at 120, then the level is going to be 120. And that level stays even if you try to steal somebody's kill, so keep that in mind. And what this means is if you pull a monster, it's not aggroed, right? You don't face pull it. If you pull it with a debuff, or you hit it with a sleep, the debuff will come off immediately. So you'll hit it, it'll get the debuff, and then it'll set its level, and it'll be completely cleansed of any of its debuffs. So keep that in mind. Also, you can MPK people in here. It's not like other zones where monsters just warp back to their spawn locations after you de-aggro them. They walk back, so if you run to the end and sleep whatever gaggle of monsters you have and warp up, they're going to wake up and start wandering back, and they can overwhelm anybody who's there. Also, monster respawn timers, they're only 1 minute, so you can find yourself overwhelmed if you pull too many, and as you're clearing, you start getting repops on top of yourself. So keep that in mind. Also, while you're farming, keep a lookout for a little shimmer on the ground. It's just a question mark. If you find that, that's 3,000 free points. Now, I haven't seen it in Temenos yet, but I found it in Apollyon. And this question mark seems to persist for quite a long time. It's not like you touch it and it goes away. So if you see it, make sure to call it out in your link shell so everybody can go get it. But it does appear to be a weekly limit on how often you can click it. I found it like 2 days ago, and I still can't get the 3,000 point bonus anymore. And given that everything is on a weekly timer with Limbus, I think that bonus is also on a weekly timer. But still, if you see it, call it out so other people can get it. It's a nice little thing. And I think kind of the last thing to go over here is there's also permanent buffs that you can earn in Limbus. So you're going to get these buffs when you're opening your chest. The second time you open a chest in Temenos, you're going to get a delineated grace. It grants extra accuracy, ranged accuracy, and magic accuracy. The second time you open an Apollyon chest, you're going to get the Angelic Grace. That's going to give you a buff to all your stats. And the third time you open a chest, it can be in either zone. You'll get the Vital Grace, which is max HP plus and experience loss reduction. They seem really weak at first, so I only had +4 accuracy, for example, and +1 to each stat, but it's already grown to like +6. My understanding is that it's attached to how many times a chest is open on your server, like similar to how the Odyssey gear prices dropped depending on how many times the bosses had been killed on your server. So that's great for Asura. I guess it's fine for everybody else, but it's great for Asura. I don't know what the cap is on that yet, but it's kind of an interesting thing. You can see it in the top corner there. It's that Thundercats logo that looks like it's from Abyssia. And that's it. That's all we know about Limbus. It could be that there's more things discovered as we go, but for now, we're going in, we're grinding the units, and we're getting our AF and Relic +4. So far, I'm really liking the content. I particularly enjoy that there's no time restrictions or time lockouts. It's really easy to sneak in some Limbus grinding in between other content. I like that you can just do it by yourself. You can do it with a group. We found that with up to 12, it still goes pretty damn fast. If you go for an alliance of 18, it slows down quite a bit. Although we haven't tried it since the update where they changed, like they lowered the amount per floor, kills per floor after that emergency maintenance. So maybe it's better with 18. Although we did this thing where we had 18, realized it wasn't that good. We split into 6 different groups, or 3 different groups of 6, and just had a paladin pull a bunch, and then we would all just pile into all the mobs and kill them, and we wouldn't move on until all 3 groups were done. It went faster than a single alliance, but that's up to you how you want to do it. The content so far I think is great. It's chill, it's relaxed, and it's fun. So get in there, get your units. If you like this kind of thing, you can check us out on Twitch. We do it live almost every day at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Twitch.tv/VelnerXI. Come on over. Let's do some cranking. We'll see you there. Bye.